One crown, two sons. What happens when a thousand-year-old institution has to face a rival government from its own flesh and blood? In London, King Charles III is furious. Out there, Harry and Meghan are building a stage that looks suspiciously like a throne, without diplomatic permission, without palace protocol, but with the same level of red carpet glamour. Is this a humanitarian mission, or a polished diplomatic betrayal wrapped in the word charity? Tonight we're breaking down why the Sussexes' illegal tour isn't just a vacation, but an existential threat to the future of the British monarchy. Let's dive deep. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel, the place where we dissect what's really hiding behind mainstream media narratives. And today, we're stepping into the labyrinth of Buckingham Palace protocols. We all know that being a member of the British royal family isn't about lifestyle. It's about having a monopoly on representation. Only one person is allowed to speak on behalf of Britain, and that's the king. But what have we been seeing lately? Harry and Meghan traveling the world, meeting heads of state, and being welcomed like official state visits. Technically, they're private citizens. But visually, they're selling the royal brand without wanting to pay the price. This isn't just family drama at the dinner table anymore, folks. This is a branding war on the geopolitical stage. King Charles knows that if this is allowed to continue, the authority of the crown will slowly erode and turn into nothing more than a Hollywood commodity. Strategically, what Harry and Meghan are doing is shadow diplomacy. They're using the leftover royal aura to gain access that regular celebrities could never get. My analysis? They're trying to create Monarchy 2.0, a more woke, more glamorous version of royalty, free from constitutional rules and restrictions. That's exactly why Charles is so angry. If people can get the royal feel from Harry and Meghan, who can speak freely, why would they still respect the stiff, secretive palace? Let's be honest. Harry claims he left because he wanted privacy and security. Yet here they are, visiting high-risk countries that require military-level protection. The inconsistency is glaring. My criticism is this: you can't hate the institution but still use its tools, like the titles and protocols, to get global attention. It's extremely opportunistic and risky for Britain's diplomatic stability. There's an important lesson here about soft power. In the modern world, power isn't about who has the biggest army anymore. It's about who controls the narrative. King Charles is fighting to maintain the narrative of lifelong duty, while the Sussexes are offering the narrative of self-empowerment. This conflict teaches us how a great brand can be destroyed not by external enemies, but by inconsistency from within. Rumors among the elite say these visits are giving the British Foreign Office a massive headache. Imagine Harry meeting world leaders who may have their own political agendas, without any briefing from official diplomats. He's a loose cannon, a wild weapon that could explode at any moment. If Harry says the wrong thing, it's the British government that takes the hit, not Netflix. Heading into 2026, Harry and Meghan's plans to tour from Jordan to Australia are no longer just a social agenda. Strategically, this is a preemptive strike. Australia is a Commonwealth country where Republican sentiment is growing strong. Imagine the risk. If Harry and Meghan land there and get a warmer welcome than Prince William's official visit, that would be a symbolic death blow to Charles's legitimacy as head of state. My simple analysis: the Sussexes are running a stress test on the foundations of the monarchy. They want to see how much the public loves the icons more than the institution itself. Insider sources say Charles isn't just angry, he feels systematically betrayed. There's a growing theory among elite observers that this is narrative revenge. Because they didn't get the half-in, half-out deal they wanted during Megxit, they decided to do it illegally on their own terms. This is high-stakes poker. If they manage to stay relevant without palace support, they prove that monarchy is an outdated concept. But if they make even one small diplomatic mistake, like being photographed with the wrong political figure, their global career could collapse overnight with no palace protection to shield them. That said, there's a dark side we need to criticize from both parties. While the world is dealing with inflation and global uncertainty, this drama between the old palace and Hollywood royalty often becomes an expensive distraction. King Charles is trying to look relevant as the austerity king. Yet he has to waste energy putting out fires started by his own son. On the other hand, Harry and Meghan talk about poverty and climate change while flying on private jets and staying in luxury resorts. There's a sharp disconnect from reality here. We, as viewers, are watching an extremely expensive elite show, where the stakes aren't just titles, but global influence in the 21st century. The biggest lesson for us isn't about who's right or wrong between Charles and Harry, it's about reputation management. In the digital world, perception is reality, even though Harry has no legal authority. As long as the cameras capture him with the right protocol, the global public will see him as a royal representative. That's the power of visuals over legality. King Charles isn't afraid of Harry, the son. He's afraid of Harry, the content creator who has a global platform with no censorship. It's a reminder to all of us that, in the information age, whoever controls the camera and the narrative holds the real power, even if they're not wearing a crown. We have to look at this through the lens of the psychology of power. Charles waited decades to wear that crown. He's a traditionalist who believes in order and hierarchy. But Harry is using the weapon most feared by ancient institutions, personal charisma. In Max Weber's sociology theory, there's a conflict between legal rational authority, King Charles with his official mandate, and charismatic authority, Harry with his mass appeal. Charles isn't furious out of hatred, but out of deep fear. He knows that if people start choosing charisma over law, the foundations of the British monarchy will crumble. Harry isn't destroying the monarchy from the outside with a sword, he's dissolving it from the inside with popularity. Why is Australia the crucial point in this analysis? Because Australia is the fragile jewel of the Commonwealth. Rumors in diplomatic circles suggest Harry and Meghan deliberately scheduled their movements there to overshadow Prince William's official visit. This is market saturation technique in the world of business. If the Sussexes arrive first with a fresher, more emotional, and more human narrative, William's visit will feel stiff, boring, and like cold office business. Single quotes. Charles sees this as high-level diplomatic sabotage. He realizes Harry is no longer playing as a family member, but as a direct competitor for the hearts of the Commonwealth people. The sharpest criticism we must make is how humanitarian issues are being used as a shield. In every tour, Harry and Meghan always highlight mental health or women's empowerment. But the question is this pure advocacy or just collateral branding? For the palace, charity work is a quiet duty, often done without excessive camera attention. For the Sussexes, charity is content. That's the friction point. King Charles feels that the sanctity of royal duty is being commodified into digital exposure. There's great danger when the suffering of people in developing countries becomes an aesthetic backdrop for photos to boost their media contracts in America. This is no longer about noblesse oblige. It's about content creation. If this illegal tour continues without coordination with Buckingham Palace, we will likely see even more extreme isolation measures from King Charles. The palace's current digital strategy is silent treatment, letting the Sussex noise pass without official response. But behind the scenes, tighter rules on the use of the Sussex title for commercial purposes are being prepared. My strategic analysis shows that Charles is building a legal firewall to ensure that whatever Harry does abroad can never be seen as an official position of the British government. This battle is far from over. We are watching history being written in real time, where an ancient dynasty must fight against algorithms and social media influence, controlled by its own rebel prince. In the end, are Harry and Meghan modern heroes who are breaking the stiffness of tradition? Or are they just opportunists who are destroying the very foundations they came from? One thing is certain, this battle for the narrative is far from over. If you feel this analysis gave you a fresh perspective, don't let the discussion stop here. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future deep dives into public figures and global elite dynamics on this channel. Like this video if you found the information useful. And most importantly, leave your opinion in the comments section below. Are you Team Palace, standing up for protocol and tradition, or Team Sussex, supporting freedom and change? I read every single thoughtful comment. Don't forget to share this video and subscribe to the King YouTube channel with your friends or groups who also follow the British royal family. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you in the next in-depth analysis.